came in yesterday. Sun Pharma was sitting at a fresh 52-week high after reporting a decent set of numbers. Despite weakness from Taro, the numbers were better than what the street was estimating. It was a 14% revenue growth. The margins have been quite stable at 27%. And they talk about how their global specialty sales business has seen a 27% growth this time. Cyndrella Carvalho, who is the Vice President, Healthcare at JM Financial, joins us now. Cyndrella, good morning and thanks for being with us. On Sun Pharma, based on these numbers, do you see further upsides in the stock? And is the risk-reward still favorable for long-term investors?
Yes, thank you. And definitely, Sun Pharma has outperformed our expectation, not just for the quarter. And when we are looking at the long-term trajectory, we see that there are a lot of levers. Like how you just now mentioned Taro performance, we expect that Taro should start stabilizing as we move ahead. India remains very strong and the growth remains quite in the ahead of IPM, and that gives us the strength. Being the largest company in India continues to grow ahead of the IPM. Specialty business is supporting the US segment very well, and we are seeing that the second half will be a stronger quarter for products like Illumia. And given that this is the strong driver, even in this quarter's gross margin contribution levels, we expect that the levers will continue to be stronger. In the pharma space, we continue to like this company strongly, and we believe this is one of our top pick, and we maintain the same. Given that many levers are there in front of us to see the trajectory going ahead. Even on the global specialty, we believe that they will cross almost $850 million this year itself. And that itself is a very strong performance. And given that this should allow a larger EBITDA expansion from the overall business perspective, given that specialty business is kind of will lead the growth going ahead. And along with that, if we look at the generic side of the business also, what we are seeing is the generic portion is also stabilizing. Plus, there will be some launches like generic Revlimid. We expect somewhere around Q4. That will also support the generic business overall performance going ahead.
All right. Hi, Cyndrella. Good morning. That's about Sun Pharma, but I want to ask you about another stock, Piramal Pharma. That recently listed. Expectation was it listed around 200 rupees odd. From there, because of rejig of indices, yesterday there was some MSCI selling as well. The stock came down to around 155, 160 odd. Any view on the stock? It comes out of T2T as well tomorrow.
So I agree with your view. I think even I have heard similar views around the MSCI selling. However, we do not cover the stock, but we believe that I have looked at the basic financials of the business, and we see that there is some levers to increase the EBITDA margins. And I think that is what I can say right now, that we may see some recovery in the overall EBITDA margins, which have been hampered due to slower ramp up in the CDMO space, which is on a recovering space. If I go back to Syngene commentary on the overall recovery in the R&D project spaces, I think the business looks like on a coming back with a good growth. And I think that should reflect even in the Piramal Pharma space. So we are hopeful that margin recovery should follow sooner. However, we do not cover this stock, so won't be able to comment much on that.
Okay. I don't know if you cover Gland Pharma, but wanted your thoughts there. I mean, it's been a big disappointment for investors, stock at a 52-week low, and the India business has halved in the quarter gone by. Any thoughts?
So again, we do not cover this stock, but based on the management commentary that we have heard, basically, we understand that there are certain shortages which will continue for another year or so, which will keep the earnings performance weaker than expected. Management has also around their guidance, taken a U-turn. So I think this is what is showing a weakness in the overall earnings performance, and that is the reason maybe we are seeing this harsh reflection on the pricing front. But we believe that this will, take its own course of time before it stabilizes. So investors will have to wait for the performance or the earnings to stabilize before anything else that I can add to it, because as I told you, we don't cover this stuff.
Okay, all right. Cyndrella, thanks so much for stopping by and filling us in with your view on Sun Pharma and giving us a brief gist on a couple of other companies from the pharma pack itself. By the way, before we slip into a short break, just pull up the dollar index. Earlier today when we woke up, it was at around 111.6. Now that's cooled off. It's cooled off a little bit, to around 111.25 odds. So just keep an eye out on that one. It'll be reacting to what the Fed has to say as well later tonight. So that's one, another asset class you should be looking at. Slip into a short break. You come back.